Daniel nodded, swinging his legs over the side of the bed. The wooden floor felt ice-cold beneath his feet as he moved toward the window, peering into the moonlit backyard. Nothing. Just the skeletal branches of the old willow tree, swaying in the wind. Another wail, closer this time. Sarah flinched. "It sounds like a woman." Daniel grabbed the flashlight from the nightstand. "I'll check it out." "No." Sarah reached for him, her fingers trembling. "Daniel, please, what if it's a prank? Probably." He forced a reassuring smile, though his gut twisted with unease. "I won't be long." The air outside was thick with damp earth and decay. The flashlight beam wavered as Daniel stepped onto the porch, scanning the yard. Then he saw it, just beyond the tree line, where the land sloped into the fog-drenched woods. A figure. A woman in tattered clothing, her long black hair clinging to her face. She stood unnaturally still, her head slightly tilted, her arms limp at her sides. As Daniel took a cautious step forward, she let out another mournful wail, her body trembling with sorrow. "Ma'am?" he called out, his voice hesitant. "Are you okay?" The woman's head snapped toward him. The flashlight flickered. Daniel's stomach clenched. He expected a face, a real human face. Instead, empty eye sockets stared back at him, black tears streaking down her pale, rotting skin. Her mouth opened wide, too wide, stretching impossibly as she let out a piercing scream. Daniel stumbled backward, tripping over the porch step. The flashlight slipped from his grasp, clattering onto the ground. The beam sputtered and died. The scream stopped. Silence. Sarah flung open the door, panic in her eyes. "Daniel!" He was shaking, struggling to catch his breath. There's something out there." Sarah hesitated, then grabbed his arm and yanked him inside, slamming the door shut. They didn't sleep. By morning, the figure was gone, but the unease lingered like a shadow over their home. Sarah sat at the kitchen table, scrolling through local forums on her phone. "Daniel," her voice was tight. "Look at this." He leaned over her shoulder. The thread was old, nearly buried under years of posts, but the title sent a chill through him. The Weeping Mother of Black Hollow. The legend was cruel. A woman, Margaret Vale, had lived in the house centuries ago, raising 2 children alone after her husband vanished. One bitter winter night, her children disappeared into the woods. She searched for them, calling their names until her voice gave out, but they never returned. The grief consumed her. Some say she wandered into the forest, wailing for her lost children until death finally took her. Others claimed something else had taken them, something in the woods, something that left their mother broken and hollow. But the worst part? The legend claimed that anyone who heard her cries wouldn't live long enough to tell the tale. Daniel exhaled slowly. "This is just a story." Sarah didn't respond. That night, the crying returned, louder, closer. The walls groaned under the weight of the sound. The floorboards creaked, even though neither of them moved. Sarah gripped his arm. "She's inside." Daniel swallowed hard. The hallway light flickered. A shadow shifted at the end of the corridor. The air thickened, pressing against his chest, suffocating. A faint sob echoed through the house, as though it seeped from the very walls. Then, footsteps, slow, wet, dragging. Sarah whimpered, clutching Daniel's hand. The shadow moved. A shape emerged. The weeping mother stood before them, her eyeless gaze locked onto them, black tears spilling onto the floor. Daniel lunged for Sarah, yanking her toward the front door. It wouldn't budge. The locks, twisted, bent, unnatural. A whisper crawled through the air. "Where are my children?" The lights exploded, plunging them into darkness. Daniel grabbed Sarah and ran, toward the stairs, toward anything but her. The house groaned, walls stretching, warping. The very air pulsed with sorrow and rage, a child's giggle. Daniel froze. Sarah's breath hitched. The voice was small, distant. "Mommy!" The weeping mother let out a choked gasp. The darkness quivered. Another whisper. "We're here!" The house trembled. The weeping mother's head jerked toward the sound. A shrill, anguished cry tore from her throat as she staggered forward. Daniel and Sarah didn't wait. They sprinted. The door gave way, spilling them onto the porch. Silence. They turned. The house was empty. The weeping mother was gone. Only the wind remained, carrying a single fading whisper. "Found them,"